4 is coming up. I'm so excited that we're getting back on the air together again. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Sheila. Hello, everybody from Australia, from the ridge of the Great Dividing Range out in Hampton. It's been an amazing journey, and it's so gorgeous to see you again, Sheila. And you've moved across the state.
Yeah.
You've done
Coastal Girl now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's just gorgeous to see your photos, and you look like you're in another piece of heaven. I mean, I think Spokane was beautiful. Yeah, and you're blessing everyone in the water there. It's lovely.
I have a whole nother water to be breathing through now. So I'm working on the Pacific Coast now.
Yes. I think you did what Saskatchewan did with Lewis and Clark. You travelled across America. You set cosmic ley lines for the star bridges. I'm absolutely sure of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I just love that truck you're in, and you're just amazing that what you've achieved. You absolutely are such a goddess, I've got to say. You're dear to my own heart. You know that. Yeah. It's just wonderful to see. And I wish you every enjoyment in your new environment. It's really scary when you've got to take that step, and it puts you so out of your comfort zone. But yeah, it's extreme.
I took a huge leap of faith and change. And I had every sign that it was coming. And as I shared in some of my shows, I feel like I made a masterful manifestation in this move. It's been amazing. Yes. And you know, Sheena, the energies right now are so incredible. And you know, I would like to share with our viewers, you know, the kind of conversations that you and I have, and we've kind of kind of simple, but in real life, Sheena and I generally are speaking about what we're doing on other dimensions.
Absolutely.
And, the only thing that we are doing on the 3D dimension would be making technical mistakes.
Yeah. Learning. And what Sheila's talking about too is we have to laugh at ourselves. We are such space cadets, because Sheila's been saying to me, Sheena, can you get some earphones so that when we do the shows, because the barn is so big now, so the acoustics are so different. I'm going, okay. And I had all the time since our last show to try and investigate and do this. So I'm going online and I'm looking at all these speakers and little earphones and things for the computer. And I'm going to shops and I'm Googling and I'm trying to research it. And they're actually quite expensive to buy. And I just monitoring my budget, and I went, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But then I started registering the photos of what they were showing me online. I'm thinking, I've seen these before. I am such a space cadet. I had 2 sets of them with both of my iPhones. I already had them, and so I've now learned how to work them, and I'm still learning how to drive my Mac, my Mac computer. Just laughing at myself. So just the littlest things. We might appear to know what we're doing, but it's all a facade. Absolutely, I am not technical, and I don't understand why my computer and I can't communicate. When we went into the shop with my gorgeous friend Jared and me, I'm touching the screen and I'm speaking to it, and he's going, no, Sheena, we're in Earth now. And I'm going, really? They don't do that yet?
Yeah.
I'm so used to the Atlantean technology. It's like, come on, guys, you've got to catch up, Earth. Come on, we can do this, you know. So anyway, thank you so much.
Cords just...
I'd love to talk. Sorry? I didn't hear what you said.
Cords drive me nuts. Electrical cords, I don't know why we still have to have any cord whatsoever, but that is like one of my pet peeves is cords.
Yes. I'm the same. They're not aesthetically pleasing. I try and make them look pretty, and I even buy coloured cords and try and colour coordinate. Yeah, cords are an unusual thing. I think it reminds us that everything is interconnected, like threads of light. Yeah, but I'd absolutely love to share with everybody in the simplest way that I can from the angelic administrative perspective what's actually been happening, because we always work in the background to help facilitate these experiences for everybody that are on their journey of their consciousness being embodied and having these experiences as a conscious being experiencing the self and going through a multidimensional a conscious awareness, if that makes sense. So the very best thing that I can do is I'll try and explain things. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That was my computer. It did speak to me. I don't know if you heard that. It said it's 12 o'clock. It is midday here in Australia. I did try and find a really sexy masculine voice like Sean Connery, like it's 12 o'clock, Sheena. But they haven't invented that yet. The nicest voice I could find for my computer to tell me what the time is, because I don't wear watches. I can't deal with time. I'm so sorry. Okay, we'll get back on to what's happening multidimensionally. Well, it's really incredible. For the first time in the history of the earth, and that is also much longer than mankind has any concept of. Mankind thinks they understand time and how it's measured, but the earth, of course, for those that are aware, is much older than you can possibly imagine in the scale of time measurement. And the period of Egypt was incredibly long, and there's so much more under those sands that the earth is yet to reveal for mankind. It was an entirely extraordinary time on the planet, the age of Egypt. So we call things in ages. So in the age of mankind now, one thing has happened that has never happened in the history of this dimension. We talk about planes of existence. So if people understand that even though you're on the earth, you can experience different planes of existence while you're here. Some people call that third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension. Now I'm speaking in angelic language, and everybody has their own concepts and everybody has their own language. So just to clarify, dimensions, within each dimension there are planes of existence. So a plane of existence can be a dimension, however there are other planes of existence within each dimension. I hope that makes sense. But in the history of the earth, what has finally happened, and even I was overwhelmed and really excited and shocked at the same time, because for centuries when I sit on the councils as an angelic advisor, I, of course, whenever I'm embodied, I always request more light for the planet, more light for the planet. And of course, the higher beings will meet and determine whether that's in mankind's best interest. And in many cases, they say no, mankind's not able to process that much light. So what's actually happened is, and I have to thank personally all of our brothers and sisters that are out there in service, and even those that are doing their ascension work, that are working in the light and bringing in the light and generating that love around the planet. Because even though our percentages are small, what has happened is, and I actually thank the internet for that also as a tool, because you've all interconnected and you've all gone above the different planes of existence, the different slipstreams that you can go into, and you've brought in so much love and light that the distance between the lower vibrational energy or denser vibrational energy and the higher vibrational energy has become so great, it's like opposing forces, that it's actually allowed the earth itself to become one-dimensional earth and two-dimensional earth, meaning the earth itself has split. Now, what this means is if you imagine an hourglass, you've got the two, they are overlaid onto each other. But what it allows you to do now is within each of those, what we call earths, there are planes of existence. The new earth, or Earth 2, is on its own entirely new path. It's almost like when the beginning of life is created and you have a single cell, and then that cell multiplies and you have two cells. It's really extraordinary. So what it will allow us all to do, there are those that are in service work who will still travel multidimensionally to the different planes of existence and the different dimensional earths, because that's what we do. But there are those in the more denser vibrational earth, when they finish their journey, they are still evolving and still learning and still growing. They will reincarnate into the denser vibrational earth so they can continue to grow and evolve at their own pace. Every soul has the right to exist, and every soul has the right to evolve. And it's a continuous existence. And those that have done their ascension work, and those that are ever expanding and ever evolving into the light, when they leave this dimension, if they choose to come back and do more of their mastery, they will reincarnate into the higher vibrational dimensional earth. And eventually, when all of the consciousness, when all of those who are embodied have gone through their cycle, the distance between the two will be even greater. This can take many decades. It can take, something like 100 to 200 years to actually happen. But in the meantime, there's many things that the angelic realm and the angels of Avalon and all the beautiful masters and the Galactic Federation, we've all been working tirelessly to have this event occur. It did occur last month, and many of you might have felt like you were out of phase and out of time. And like I know for many years I've been waking up and thinking I'm just waking up on the wrong earth. It didn't feel like the earth that I'm used to, but that's the way that it is. Mm-hmm. And that was because we were travelling consciously back and forward before this. It's not a separation, it's an evolution, if that makes sense. That's a better way to describe it. So the universal life force dome on each one needs to be different for those beings that are in a higher vibration than those that are still growing and evolving, and they're learning consciousness, if that makes sense. There are those that when we were created, we were granted consciousness, and many of those of us are the ones who are in service. Many of us have to come and have experiences to understand that our other brothers and sisters, some of them have to learn consciousness. It's not granted at the creation, it's an evolution. So it's really, really so exciting. We needed to do a massive job for this event to take place. And we've all been using the violet flame for the transgression and transmutation and transformation. And it's advisable to continue to use the violet flame. You can visit Saint Germain and Lady Portia at their beautiful temple in meditations, and the violet flame angels have been working overtime. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, with this transformation, many of us needed to it's very difficult to explain this. I'll try and explain it the best I can, because I understand it in a different language. I understand it in an angelic light language, and I know what we're doing. But to try and explain it in human terms, and I'm not a quantum physicist, so although I understand it, we've needed to travel to the age of Egypt and work on the subconscious gateways, because that was the point at which we needed to go in the time-space continuum to do what we needed to do. And what we needed to do was, there is a certain energy that is created through mankind's intention. And the angelic realm call this the intention to cause harm, which is evil. Now, in that intentional energy, pockets of energy are created which are quite dense. And from that can come what we know as earthlings as parasite energy. So we had to go and make sure all of that was transformed with the violet flame. All of us were working tirelessly to transform those pockets of energy in that age of mankind. And that was the transition point, because to carry and bring a higher Egypt into the higher earth, that needed, at that point, was where we needed to clear that, and for that transition to take place. And so many of us, many of the light workers have developed rashes. And they're really not well. And I'll tell you what it is, it's not in this dimension. It's left over from all the searing and all the work we've been doing. To treat that, absolutely use the violet flame, absolutely use frankincense. You can even smudge your face, be careful not to burn yourself, use the smoke. Sit with it and work multi-dimensionally to continue to get rid of any dust, any vapor that's left over. These very, very exciting times. So we've all done a massive transformation. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. Does this make any sense to you, Sheila?
Absolutely. And I think my shows here this year have impressed quite a bit that you do everything. I do everything within first.
Yes.
Before I approach it on the outside. So just like you were saying, these rashes are not necessarily from the 3D world. These are from
Yes.
our projects on the other dimensions that we're doing. And so, of course, naturally, you would go to that timeline or dimension.
Age,
for healing. So, and again, then all you have to do is ask.
Yes, absolutely. Just ask. Many of you have also been doing such transformations within yourself. Of course, they will bring up light body symptoms because you're going from such different dimensional shifts. As I said, the violet flame is absolutely beautiful for that. Now, there is another flame that you can use. Of course, I work with Archangel Stellario, who's the highest self of Saint Germain, and of course the violet flame comes from the violet ray. There's another flame you can access which is called the holy violet veil flame, and that assists you. It's a higher vibrational violet flame that can assist you in making the transgression from one dimensional shift to another, and from one plane of existence to another. And when you're doing that, so you can pass through that. So if you're doing your violet flame and you're thinking, gosh, I'm doing it, something's, I need to shift something more, definitely go in. And as you know, the space between where what I call the stillness, bring the violet flame into the stillness as well and transform anything that's sitting in that stillness, because that's where things sit and that's where light is created. It's very, very exciting times. And I know that when I wake up, I've absolutely felt the shift. I can breathe now. Many people have And I have to thank them again. There are so many of our brothers and sisters that do these other planes of existence and go into this conspiracy slipstreams, and they're so brave. They are such troopers. I call them, they're true angels of Avalon. They'll go anywhere, they'll do anything. And so some of our colleagues have been expressing very, very, what might appear out of character to us, but they're transforming it by going into it and expressing it. And the mastery, of course, is bringing yourself through that transformation, like the phoenix rising out of the ashes and coming back into your love and coming back into your heart. And many of our beautiful brothers and sisters have left the planet. We lost a beautiful angel, Jeffrey, crossed, and that was very sad. I know he's shining brightly out there in the stars. So, So, but what about you? How have you felt this shift? How's it affected you? Like, you've made the physical shift. There's also many people making the big shift. Of course, I had to make the big shift nearly a year and a half ago, and that was like a prelude to what was coming. So if any of you are getting the urge to move and to shift and take yourself out of an environment that no longer serves you and move to a higher environment, absolutely do it.
That's exactly what I did. It was definitely, I had every sign that said it was time to move on. And that is, and I did a beautiful dance in that process of getting moved over here. The other thing that I'm noticing is that, for me personally, my outside world, everybody is so nice. I am just meeting the happiest people. Well, it's an expression of myself. I am happy here. The ocean, I was raised near the ocean, and then I went inland, and now I'm back on the ocean, and now I remember why I love being near the ocean so much. On top of that, I've always been one that breathes to the water. Water is life. And I actually thought I was going to be moving to Montana, and to my surprise, I came here, and I'm like, wow, I got a big project. To work with. Also, I am seeing such a large space between the higher energies and the lower energies, and as I observe the lower energies, I notice that I don't really have anything. I don't like. It's an observation, but I don't have like a judgment. I don't have any opinion.
No.
It just is. And
it is.
And that contrast has shown me, and I've shared this in my shows, that I am really creating a magical world for myself. And when I say magical world for myself, that's because I'm doing it. I'm doing everything internally first.
Yes.
Okay. And then have it manifest. I'm not reaching outward to manifest. I'm reaching inward.
Correct.
And it's automatic now. It's like my new good habit. And I've also noticed that I call it downloads and restarts. My sleeping patterns have changed drastically, and thank God, I'm so grateful that my life is in a position where I can really take care of myself right now. And when my body, there are moments, I call it the avatar effect, where I have to go right now. Right now, I feel myself just leaving my body, and I know that, and then I'll wake up 10 minutes later and I'm fine again. But
Yes.
it's a restart. It's a download and a restart, just like on our
Yeah.
computers. You know, all the updates
Yeah.
take effect,
Yeah.
and
Yes. I know. I know. You and I have done shows together where Sheila's been very aware that I've actually left I've left the venue. I've left my body, and I'll appear like I'm talking, and she'll know I'm not there. I have that avatar effect when I'm consciously awake, and I go, okay, where have I been? Okay, I'm back on Earth. And when I wake up in the mornings, I've got to go, okay, which dimension am I in? It's being called to spirit, and it's wonderful if you can sit and let the process take place. And it does only take about 10 minutes, 20 minutes max, and then you're back and you're in your body and you're back in this dimension and you're working. I had a conversation with
coming
Sorry?
out of this dimension. You know, I can
Yes.
all of a sudden, you know, there'll be something, you know, that I'll see that's sort of, you know, on that lower energy or whatever. And you know, it's like this, you know, and then the next moment I'm back in my world again. And so
in your heart.
Yes. Yes.
We call it the way. And Jesus taught this too. He taught the way of the heart. It's the heart mind, bringing yourself back into your heart, because the mental energy, the mental planes of existence, and the astral realms, which are the illusionary realms that mankind has created in their own mind. You bring yourself back into your center, and it's just having compassion and not negative empathy, having that compassion for our brothers and sisters, that they're doing exactly what they're meant to be doing because that's what they know. So
it seems that we're being asked to simplify.
Yes.
Because now that we're going into this heart space, it's not so much thinking. Okay.
Correct.
And to take some, you know, take that jabber, that thinky part away, and bring it back here. And things are much simpler, and it is our human nature to complicate things. And that is another thing that I'm noticing is I'm really feeling the simplify part.
Yes. Being in the now, many of the masters call it being in the now. And I know I have conversations with many of the masters, and they say the lessons are, you know, you have to let go of expectations. And that's very challenging. Excuse me, I've got an itchy eyeball. That's better. I've been doing insulation work, so I just have to watch it, the little fibres. About being in the now and being in this moment and processing this moment. The tantric approach of understanding of every breath, you know, being aware of everything, being aware of your spatial surroundings. Of course, you need to navigate this realm. You need to have a certain human mastery, you know, to be able to pay your bills on time, to navigate. I call it navigating Earthship. Earthship 1 and Earthship 2. Yeah. You feel a bit like Q in the continuum sometimes. I know when I have to visit Commander Ashtar, I usually land on the deck because in my angelic form, I don't wear clothing. So if you see this beautiful big star angel with just pearls and stars in her hair, oh, hello, little star, you're here again. How are you?
Naked as usual.
Naked as usual. Well, you don't need clothes.
Well, like in all of my paintings. I've painted myself nude in all of my paintings.
Yeah, because I remember sitting and being called to a meeting with heads of state in spirit, and I walked into the meeting room in my angelic presence as I am, and I'm usually naked, and my hair is sort of like the universe. It's like stars, and I don't have a crown chakra. I have a crystalline crown that sits on my head. And I sat there, and they all had manifest clothing. And so I sat through the meeting with my hands on my breast so that they wouldn't be embarrassed. It was quite funny. And I went, oh, okay, I have to remember that that's how they are feeling comfortable by manifesting clothing. So occasionally I'll manifest a sheer gown or something, just, a bit of energy so that there's something there. But most people know, there's little star. There's that angel. She's here. Yeah, it's just my nature. I always have been like that. Naked before God, or whatever you conceive God to be. Naked before the universe. I'm just transparent. I'm authentic, and I'm naked. Not so in Earth realm. It's freezing up here. Long johns are my best friends. Do you know what long johns are?
We just got out of that. I'm in my summer.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah.
Another thing. Another thing that I noticed is that I can just be sitting still, and all of a sudden, a sort of a sad or an angry memory will come up. And I have learned masterfully to embrace it and let it go.
Yes.
Don't have
observe
to
it
about it. Yeah. Don't have to try to analyze it. Don't have to try to figure it out. I just own it. And one of my personal issues was that a lot of times I didn't speak up. I didn't speak my opinion at that moment. And so now when these things come up, I speak my truth about it. And I just cracked up today. I thought, oh my God, honesty is just so refreshing, because that's what I'm doing. When things come up, I'm giving it my honesty.
You're being authentic.
Yes.
Yeah. You're being authentic.
And then let it go. That's all I'm doing. Give it to the flame.
Well, you're transforming it. You're transforming it because it is yours. It was your experience. Right. So you're not releasing it. You're letting it go is letting go of the concepts that you had about it, but bringing it back into the heart. It's like, because I've had some experiences, some of the things that people have done, and I've gone, I didn't really put my hand up to do that, did I? No, yeah, well, apparently I did. So, and but their reactions and what they've done, hey, that wasn't very nice, but it is what it is. It was the experience, and it's what you're going to do with the experience. What are you going to take away from that experience? What did it show you about yourself? I think it shows a lot of things about ourselves. We are really nice people. We're really nice beings. And no matter what you do, you can't. It's like an analogy. If you have two rooms with no windows and no doors, and one room is filled with light and one room is filled with dark, and you way between the two, open the doorway, the light always lights up the dark, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love the movie Titanic, when she's on the front of the ship and she's there like that. I always feel like that. Your heart will always go on. Your heart is what you are. And even if you've had lives where you might have experienced lower dimensional vibrations, where you may have been in that state, it's okay to look at yourself and forgive yourself and understand that was your experience. But it's about, what did you learn from that experience?
Right.
And if what did you choose? What's your choice? You have not only free will, but you have divine will. And it's always about coming back into the heart. So I feel that we don't know yet what the future holds for both Earths. We do, but we don't, because we measure time. But it's on an entirely new path. It's got its own path, and we're always in constant a blessing. I can see both of them in the violet flames, but there's a violet flame path ahead for the new earth. I call it Earth 1 and Earth 2, not lower and higher. I just call it 1 and 2, like 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2. Yeah, yin and yang. It's like a yin and yang earth. That's a nice way to describe it. We have the yin and then we have the yang. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to.
You were talking about how last week was when there was like a major shift. Well, I was working on one of my paintings, and generally I sit and stare at my canvas.
Yeah.
So I see the painting, and then I just fill it in. Well, I was working on one, and all of a sudden it was going bam, 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 and I was seeing other paintings. And one of them was me on Earth 2, and I had reached down, and I was reaching down for the hands of people who were reaching up from Earth 1. And it was like a beautiful, sight to see, and I can't wait to paint it now, because I knew at that point something has shifted so extreme that I'm seeing both the earths now.
Yes. It's just, as I said, it's something in the history of this dimension, and I've been here for eons. That has never occurred before. So to me, it's like, oh, wow, this is so exciting. It's exciting that also when we've done our work in every day, it's like coming home. It feels more silky. It feels like silk. It's like you can come home, and it's like, yes, it's just beautiful. Of course, the guardian of the earth, the archangels themselves still continue to exist. They were created for this dimension, and the Council of Seven. So the Council of Seven have actually split. There's always been a cosmic and a galactic aspect and higher aspects to these beautiful seven, the Council of Seven that I work with. So they are still in the Earth 1 and in Earth 2. But in Earth 2, there are other beings that also make up the council for that Earth. Archangel Stelorio, who from the original Council of 13, the Atlantis, or this planet, part of the new Earth. And we have beautiful beings that hold the twin flame energies, and they are called Yatamu and Magenta, the angelic beings. They've always been in Earth 1, but they're now in Earth 2 as well, and they're able to resonate at their highest vibration, and they hold that incredible, it's not in this earth that I'm sitting here now. It is a brilliant blue twin flame energy. It's a blue flame. It's a translucent blue flame. It's like it has a crystalline vibration to it. They always hold the twin flame pillar for those that are in union. We call it the twin flame pillar, but it could be two soulmates who wish to have union energetically, even if they may not be physically connected. They go into that the heart space. It's one of the inner chambers to the heart. You get the threefold flame. You get the gold, the pink, and then that blue, and it's in the deeper inner chambers of the heart. So it's very exciting. So there's new councils governing Earth 1 and Earth 2. It is really, really exciting. So the light workers themselves allowed, and there was enough light generated by just a few that created this event to be able to occur. And that's what's amazing, because I went, well, how is this possible? We only had a few light work, and they said the work that you all did was so great that it had to happen. It couldn't stay. It's like they couldn't exist together any longer. They had to evolve. There you go. So, and thank you everyone so much for this. It's just, yeah.
Well,
So it's exciting.
I'm glad we could share with our peeps, you know, the kind of conversations that you and I have all the time. This is just our usual stuff.
Yes, yeah.
I want people to
yes.
start feeling comfortable with these concepts, with this vocabulary, and I hope we can do some more shows where we can help people who are just like waking up to realize
Yes, absolutely.
have other projects on other dimensions, and this is why you wake up
yes.
at that time. So I hope we can share some more stories like that.
That would be lovely. The one thing that I need to impress upon everybody is there's nothing to be frightened of. You are exactly where you're meant to be, in the best environment for you, for your evolution. So this was always, it's always both earths are part of the divine plan for the greater good for humanity.
Yes.
There are always two plans on the planet. Mankind has free will. So there's always mankind's plan in Earth 1 and in 2. Earth 2, both of those still exist. There is nothing to be frightened of. There's nothing to fear. You have your guardians watching over you, your angels watching over you. Please regard it as an adventure. And if you wish to strive and continue to evolve and grow, it's natural. You have the right to exist, yes, and you have the right to evolve. And you have divine beings watching over you. So, yes. Which earth am I going to wake up in tomorrow? I always exist, yes. So it's all right, I know. Sheila, I'll meet you at the pub at the end of the universe later.
Oh,
it's like it reminds me of Arthur Dent in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There will be some that won't know what we're talking about. But in actual fact, the Earth was blown up to make way for a hyperspace way that came through. And if anyone wants to go and find Arthur Dent and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and have fun with that, you might enjoy it. But it was written many, many years ago. I think it was written in the 70s, but I absolutely related to it. And the theory was that the answer is 42, which for those that really understand this, 4 and 2 add up to 6. 6 is the resonation for the heart star, the Merkaba. So the answer is always love and heart. But in this dimension that Arthur Dent existed in, the mice were carrying on an experiment on the Earth, and they were furious when the Earth got blown up to make way for a space highway. So I just know that both Earths are safe, absolutely safe. They will continue to evolve. Yes. We won't talk about what happened to the solar system when this occurred, because it's like you have multiverses now. Yes, we'll leave that for a whole nother show. Right. But no, I've not been smoking. Yes, I don't take drugs. I don't need to. I'll just tell you that now. I have enough going on in my universe without having to do any of that. But just always find your heart, find the joy, find the love, find the laughter. And Sheila, thank you so much for what you do for everyone. For those of you who know me, you know how and where I come from. For those of you who don't, and this might be the first time you've tuned into one of our shows, please only take into your heart what feels right for you. What is your truth? Only sit with that. I only ever offer this information. Everybody must sit in their own truth and experience their own truth. But I like to say bless you all, and never forget you do have higher beings, beautiful angelic beings. And angels for me mean the messengers, the higher consciousness. They are watching over you, and we love you all. And thank you for taking the time to listen to us, and I hope we've made you smile today.
We'll see you again soon. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
From my heart to yours.
Thank you.
Namaste.
My heart to yours, Sheila. Namaste.
Oh.